Kabbalah states that two cosmos exist, the macrocosm and the microcosm. The first one represents the infinitely large. The second one represents the infinitely small. This Kabbalistic teaching about the two cosmos is incomplete because it is only a fragmentary teaching. 7 cosmos exist, not 2, as some mistaken Kabbalists assume. The Absolute in itself, as explained by the Kabbalah, has 3 aspects, which are 1. Ein Sof, or 2. Ein Sof. 3. Ein. The Ein Sof, or is the exterior circle. The Ein Sof is the middle circle. The Ein is in fact Sat, the unmanifested Absolute. The first cosmos could not exist within the unmanifested Ein, not even within the Ein Sof more. The first cosmos can only exist within the Ein Sof, or this first cosmos is made of an entirely spiritual nature. Its name is Protocosmos. The second is the Iacosmos or Megalocosmos, that is to say, the vast cosmos or all of the suns, all of the worlds of the infinite space. The third cosmos is the macrocosmos, which the Kabbalists refer to in their writings. This is formed by the Milky Way with its 18 million suns that gravitate around the central sun Sirius. The fourth cosmos is the deuterocosmos, which is constituted by the sun of our solar system and all of its laws. The fifth is the mesocosmos, our planet Earth. The sixth is the microcosm, man. The seventh is the tritocosmos, the infinitely small, such as atoms, molecules, insects, microbes, electrons, etc., and also the Avicii, the abyss. The mesocosmos and the deuterocosmos exist between the microcosm, man, and the macrocosm. Therefore, the phrase which states, man, the human being, is the microcosm of the macrocosm becomes a little capricious. Each one of the 7 cosmos has its own laws. The Gnostic initiate has to study the laws which govern all of these 7 cosmos with the goal of knowing the place that he occupies in life and what he must do in order to achieve the final liberation. The ray of creation. The Master G states that the ray of creation begins its development from the Absolute and ends in the moon. Master G's mistake consists in believing that the moon is a split-off fragment from the Earth. The moon is much more ancient than the Earth. It is already a dead world, a planet which belonged to another ray of creation. Truly, our own ray of creation began in the Absolute and ended in the Inferno, Infernus, Avicii, Greek Tartarus, Roman Averno, or submerged mineral kingdom, which is the fatal abode of the sublunar tenebrous entities. The proper arrangement of the ray of creation is as follows. 1. Absolute protocosmos. 2. All the worlds from all of the clusters of galaxies, Iacosmos. 3. A galaxy or group of suns, macrocosmos. 4. The sun, solar system, deuterocosmos. 5. The Earth or any of the planets, mesocosmos. 6. The philosophical Earth, human being, microcosmos. 7. The abyss, hell, tritocosmos. The brethren of the Gnostic movement must deeply comprehend the esoteric knowledge which we give in this Christmas message in order for them to exactly know the place that they occupy in the ray of creation. We need to know the path in depth with the goal of achieving the nativity within our heart and the final liberation. The ray of creation begins in the Absolute with the protocosmos. All of the worlds in the ray of creation correspond to the Iacosmos. All of the suns of this Milky Way galaxy correspond to the macrocosm in the ray of creation. The deuterocosmos within the ray of creation is the sun, solar system. Each mesocosmos within the ray of creation is composed of a planet of any solar system. Our planet Earth represents one among them. The microcosm is the human being within the ray of creation. The tritocosmos is the atom and the abyss. The unique law, the law of the Absolute, exists within the first cosmos. The law of the first cosmos is converted into 3 laws within the second cosmos. Thus, 3 are the laws which govern the second cosmos. The 3 laws are converted into 6 laws within the third cosmos. The 6 laws are duplicated into 12 within the fourth cosmos. The 12 laws are duplicated in order to become 24 laws within the fifth cosmos. The 24 laws are duplicated within the sixth cosmos, thus converting into 48 laws. The 48 laws are converted into 96 laws by means of duplication within the seventh cosmos. Therefore, the will of the Absolute, the unique law, is fulfilled within the protocosmos. This great law is converted into three within the second cosmos, which is the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, or positive force, negative force, and neutral force. Mechanicity starts within the third cosmos because these three primordial laws divide themselves in order to become 6 laws. Life becomes much more mechanical within the fourth cosmos since there are no longer 6 laws, but 12 laws which govern in this cosmos. Life becomes very much more mechanical within the fifth cosmos and almost has nothing to do with the will of the Absolute because the 12 laws have become 24 laws. Life turns tremendously materialistic and mechanical within the sixth cosmos so that the existence of the will of the Absolute is not even remotely suspected. We live in a mechanical world of 48 laws, a world where the will of the Absolute is not fulfilled, a spot in a very remote corner of the universe, a terribly dark and painful place. The position which we occupy in the ray of creation is sorrowful because in our world the will of the Absolute is not fulfilled, not even the will of 3 divine persons called Father, Son, and Holy Spirit is fulfilled. 48 frightful, mechanical laws govern and direct us. We are certainly wretched, exiled ones who live in this valley of bitterness. Underneath us, in accordance with the ray of creation, only the disgraceful souls of the abyss exist, who are governed by the horrifying mechanism of 96 laws. We need to liberate ourselves from the 48 laws in order to pass into the fifth cosmos, the one of 24 laws. Then we need to liberate ourselves from the fifth cosmos in order to pass into the fourth cosmos, the one of 12 laws. Afterwards, our work of final liberation continues, passing from the fourth cosmos into the third and then into the second cosmos in order to finally reach the Absolute. All of the substances from all of the 7 cosmos are within ourselves. We have the substance of the protocosmos within our thinking brain head. We have the substance of the iacosmos within the thinking system or motor brain distributed throughout the spinal cord. We have the substance of the macrocosm within the conscious brain, which is made up of all of the specific nervous centers of the human organism and likewise so on. Therefore, the necessary materials for the great work are found within the human organism. If we achieve the creation of the superior existential bodies of the being, then, as a fact, we attain the liberation from all of the cosmos, including the 7th, in order to finally enter into the unmanifested Absolute, Sat, Ein. The seed germs for the creation of all the existential superior bodies of the being are found deposited within the semen. The development of these seed germs is necessary and is only possible with the Maithuna sexual magic. We have already spoken about the existential superior bodies of the being in our former publications and messages. Therefore, our Gnostic students are already informed about the subject. We know that the astral body, do not confuse it with the lunar body, is governed by 24 laws and that the physical body is governed by 48 laws. If we create the astral body, then it is clear that we liberate ourselves from the fatal world of 48 laws. Thus, we convert ourselves into inhabitants of the world of 24 laws. If we create the mental body, then we liberate ourselves from the world of the 24 laws. Thus, we enter into the world of 12 laws. Let us remember that the mental world is governed by 12 laws. If we create the causal body or the body of the conscious will, then we enter into the world of 6 laws. Thus, we convert ourselves into inhabitants of that world because the body of the conscious will, the causal body, is governed by 6 laws. The work with the Maithuna and the dissolution of the I plus the sacrifice for humanity allows us to make new creations within ourselves in order to be liberated from the world of 6 laws, thus passing beyond the iacosmos and the ineffable protocosmos. It is necessary for all of our Gnostic students to comprehend this Christmas that they can only achieve the final liberation by creating the superior existential bodies of the being, by celebrating the death of their I, and by celebrating the nativity in their hearts. The being can only enter within the one who has created the superior existential bodies. The nativity of the heart can only be truly celebrated by the one who has created the superior existential bodies of the being. The constitution of the intellectual animal, mistakenly called man, is the following: 1. Physical body. 2. Vital body. 3. Lunar body of desires. 4. Lunar mental body. 5. Pluralized I. 7. The Buddhata. The three aspects of Atman Buddhi Manas, divine spirit, spirit of life, or human spirit, have not incarnated within the human being because he still does not possess the solar bodies, that is to say, the superior existential bodies of the being. The whole of our efforts are aimed towards the liberation of ourselves from the moon, which disgracefully we carry within our lunar bodies. We liberate ourselves from the lunar influence when we create the solar bodies. The luxury of creating our solar bodies can only be achieved with the Maithuna sexual magic because the seed germs of such bodies are found within the semen. The lunar bodies keep us living in the world of 48 laws in this valley of bitterness. The lunar bodies are feminine. This is why the men from this world are within the internal worlds after death as subconscious, cold, phantasmagoric women. It is very pitiable that the Theosophist and the Pseudo-Rosicrucian writers, etc., have not been capable of comprehending that the present internal vehicles of the human being are the lunar bodies which we must disintegrate after we have created the solar bodies. To liberate ourselves from the world of the 48 laws without having created the superior existential bodies of the being is impossible.